Well, hello everyone. I hope and pray that you're doing well. I'm in the midst of a little bit of wind here, so a little bit of shaking, but I think that's going to fit in with what I'm trying to say. Last night I made the mistake of looking at this week's long-term weather forecast. And when I looked at it yesterday, it called for a lot of sunshine at the end of this coming week. And then I looked at the weather again, the forecast again this morning, and things were not looking quite as rosy anymore. Not as many bright, shiny, smiley, sunny face pictures. And in our house, maybe somebody is paying particular attention to the forecast for this Saturday, since it's the day of Centennial's annual Spring Classic 5K run walk. And of course, sunshine would be most welcome. The thing about forecasts is that they can change, and the thing with weather is that it can change. And I remember when we moved here to Terrace 20 years ago, somebody said something like, there's no such thing as bad weather, not just inappropriate clothing. Still, I'd prefer some days so-called good weather. Now, I know, of course, that I have no control over the forecast or the weather itself, whereas when we read through Matthew's gospel, we read about a Jesus who's on a boat with his disciples, and the weather was awful, right? And in the midst of this storm, the disciples wake up Jesus from a nap, and they say, "Lord, wake up, save us before we drown." And Jesus replies to them, "Why are you so afraid? You surely don't have very much faith." And he gets up and he orders the wind to stop and the waves to calm down, and everything's calm. And then the men in the boat, they're amazed, and they say, "Who is this? Even the wind and the waves obey him." And some days I've thought, well, wouldn't that be nice, right? To be like Jesus, to be able to calm the wind and to calm the waves. And, there are certainly days that I'd like to change the weather. But if I'm grounded in reality, I remember that I can't command the wind or the waves. I can't make it be sunny for a picnic. I can't make it snow 45 centimeters the day before I go skiing, right? There's this excellent old Anglican prayer that includes the line, "Guide me in your truth and teach me, for you are God and I am not." You are God and I am not. Now, the things that I have no control over the list of things that I have no control over is a lot larger than the list of things that I do have control over. And so in addition to the weather, I've got no control over interest rates, or traffic in Vancouver, or lineups at the grocery store. I have no control over the past. I have no control over other people's happiness. But I can do some things. And I can pray about all these things nevertheless. And I can pray, "Guide me in your truth and teach me, for you are God and I am not." And I can certainly hope for good things like sunny weather. But even more, I can hope and trust in the one who rightly commands the wind and the waves. I can hope and trust that God will shine upon us, right? From Numbers 3, you hear this regularly. "May the Lord shine his face upon you and be gracious to you." The peace of Christ be with you all.